This image was shot at ISO 12800. Noisy, right? AI cleaned it. This one, a beautiful tiger walking in a jungle. The only problem though, there was a car in the frame, and AI wiped it out like it was never there. And this one, well, this one never really existed. This moment did not happen. I generated it using AI in just 15 seconds. AI, AI, AI. It seems like that's all we hear these days. And pretty much every industry is talking about it, especially tech, where we are already seeing some early impact. And that made me ask a simple question. If AI can already clean noise in your photos, remove objects, and even generate wildlife that never existed, are we looking at the beginning of the end of wildlife photography? So, I decided to test it. And I tried the AI that already exists in our cameras. I tried the AI that is now embedded in almost all editing softwares. And I also tried models that can create entire wildlife scenes from scratch. In this video, I am going to take you through the entire AI spectrum, the good, the bad, and the really ugly. So that by the end of this video, you can decide for yourself if AI is the end of wildlife photography or just the next evolution. Let's start with the easy stuff. See, AI already exists in most of the camera bodies that you use today. Subject detection and real time tracking are two features that are quite common even in mid range cameras today. But the latest flagship models, I think they've taken a massive leap. We're talking about dedicated AI processing units inside cameras, hardware built specifically to predict the subject and its movement. I'm shooting this video using Sony's Alpha 1 Mark II. It's one of Sony's top line cameras today, and it has their latest AI tech inside it. Watch this. What you're seeing now is Alpha 1's rear display. You see that white box around my eye? That's just the camera automatically detecting me as the subject and focusing on my eye. And I can move all I want, but it just won't let go of tracking my eye. I can move side to side, I can move back and forward, just doesn't let go. Even if I vigorously shake my head, it still tracks my eye. And that's not me manually selecting focus points. I'm not even touching the camera. That's actually AI identifying a subject and tracking it in real time. And it's safe to say it's doing a great job. Now just imagine how big of an advantage is this in the field. To get sharp photos, broadly, you just need to do two things, right? You need to focus accurately on the animal, preferably on its eye. And second, you need to set the shutter speed right. And here, the camera is frankly doing all that technical heavy lifting by selecting the focus point automatically. And this is good AI. It doesn't replace the photographer. In my opinion, it just enhances the photographer. Now, AI in the hardware is just the tip of the iceberg. The real game changing impact of AI actually lies in the software. Take denoising your photos, for example. I use AI denoising all the time. If you've shot wildlife in low light, early mornings, or late evenings, you know the reality. You have to push your ISO because you don't have a choice. And more often than not, when you look at the photo while editing, there will be noise. The traditional noise reduction methods, for example, these sliders in Lightroom, just smooths everything. It reduces noise by blurring pixels across the image. So sometimes, inevitably, you will lose detail along with the noise, especially things like fur or feather texture. AI denoise, though, works very differently. See, it actually analyzes the image and tries to understand what's real texture and what's just digital noise. So instead of smoothing the entire frame, it preserves edges and details much more intelligently and only cleans up what actually needs cleaning. Take this image for example. It's quite noisy, right? Now, if I were to remove all this noise using AI in Lightroom, all I need to do is just hit this checkbox. All the noise is pretty much gone. It's now a perfectly usable image, even though it was originally shot at 12,800 ISO. And just to compare, if I were to denoise this photo manually using the luminance and color sliders in Lightroom, this is what I would get. I mean, it doesn't even compare. AI is the clear winner here. In this case, what AI does is expand what's usable for me. See, I'm far more confident shooting in lower light now. And that to me is a great application of AI. What I consider the bad is when AI starts altering elements inside your image. See, it's not necessarily bad or unethical, but it's where things begin to feel less straightforward. For example, removing certain elements in your photos. Most editing tools today, be it Lightroom, Photoshop, Topaz Photo, have some version of this feature. What the software does is analyze what you need to remove and replace it with something that looks natural. In many cases, it just simply extends the background to fill the gap. Now, let's say I want to remove this branch right here from this photo. And if I'm using a tool like Lightroom, all I need to do is go to the remove panel, brush over this branch, and just hit remove. There you go. It's like it never existed. You could even zoom in if you want. Can you really make out that there was a branch here? I cannot. So is it good? Is it bad? Should we use it? Honestly, it depends on the context. If someone wants to remove objects from a photo, purely let's say for posting on social media or selling their work, or even just to make a photo look beautiful, I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with it as long as they're honest about it. The ethical concern really begins when people use these features to pass the images off as completely authentic, untouched field photographs. That's where I think the line gets crossed. It's also important to note that almost all major wildlife photography competitions disallow this. And that tells you something about where the industry currently draws its boundaries. Personally, I wouldn't remove major elements from my photos. See, not because I see it as morally wrong, but because I don't feel the need to alter a scene just to make it more beautiful. The bigger point, though, is this: we are already in a space where we can now alter reality quite convincingly. And once you cross from improving a photo to changing what was actually there, the line starts to blur. Now, the next thing I tried genuinely surprised me. Imagine you took a photo, and unfortunately, your subject is not very sharp. Now, in most cases, that would be the end of it, right? Unless you intentionally blurred a subject to show motion, a soft image is usually a dead image. But what if you could, in a way, unblur your photo? Sounds crazy, but it's very much possible. Take this photo for example. If you look closely, the wild dogs aren't actually tack sharp. They look a little soft. Now, the tool I'm using right now is Topaz Photo. And what I could simply do is select something known as a super focus filter. All I need to do is point this box at the subject. There you go. Let's try it on the other one. That's how easy it is. Now, what Topaz Photo is doing here is not just increasing clarity or contrast. It's using trained AI models built on millions of reference images to actually predict what details are missing from your photo. And then it's just reconstructing them. In other words, it's not simply enhancing what was captured, it's filling in what wasn't. And that's where I start to feel a little uneasy because now we are moving beyond improving an image into actually creating detail that the camera never recorded. Now, again, I'm not saying it's inherently evil. Used carefully, it might rescue a slightly soft image, just like what we saw. But it clearly has the potential to be misused. And remember, AI is still relatively in its early stages. These tools are only going to get better. There will come a time, and not very far from now, when it will be almost impossible to tell whether the detail is natural or generated by software. And that pushes this more towards the bad side of AI for me. Personally, this is something I would rather stay away from. And now we get to the part that genuinely makes me uncomfortable: generative AI. Because this is no longer about improving what you captured, this is about creating something that you never saw. Let me show you something. This is a photo I took in Tadoba Tiger Reserve in India. I actually like this image quite a lot. But in my mind, the ideal composition would have been if all the three tigers were looking directly into the camera. So I decided to create that version. And I used Google's Nano Banana 2. I uploaded my original image and gave it a simple prompt, asking it to create a version where the tigers are looking directly into my lens. And this is what I got. It's uncanny how realistic this looks. It's incredibly close to my original photograph. And that's not even the end of it. With just a few more instructions, I generated another image, all through a single line of prompt. And it looks pretty convincing, right? Over the last week, I showed this to 10 different people. Not one of them could confidently tell me if it was AI generated or not. Now, maybe you can tell the difference, because I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you're either a wildlife photographer or are interested in wildlife photography. So you might have a trained eye. But just think about the average viewer, someone who isn't deeply into wildlife photography. For them, distinguishing between real and generated images is becoming extremely difficult. And for the final test, look at these two images. One was shot by me, one was generated by AI. Can you tell which is which? Probably not. And that's where we are at today. AI has already blurred the line between what's real and what isn't. Now that you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly side of AI, the question still remains: will AI end wildlife photography? Short answer: I don't think so. Let's look at the commercial reality first. I believe we are about to hit our own quartz crisis. See, in 1970s, the watch industry was turned upside down. Before then, if you wanted a reliable watch, you needed a Swiss mechanical one, handcrafted, complex, and quite expensive. Then came the quartz technology. Suddenly, a battery powered watch was far more accurate than an expensive mechanical Rolex. The utility of the mechanical watch was dead overnight. And this is exactly what is happening to wildlife photography, in my opinion, or any photography genre for that matter. See, AI can spit out a polar bear on an iceberg in seconds at a fraction of the cost. For a casual viewer who probably just wants a beautiful animal on their wall, or a brand needing a quick social media post, the realness of the image might not matter anymore. See, AI is not just competing with the stock photo market, it is the new stock photo market. See, it's an efficient tool for a fast paced world, and we live in a mostly capitalist world, and people are going to optimize for their cost and their time. But just think about what happened with those Swiss watches. They did not disappear. In fact, they became more valuable than ever because they shifted from just being a tool for telling time to a symbol of human craft. They became sort of luxury items. And I think that is what the future holds for wildlife photography as well. See, as AI generated images become a cheap commodity, authenticity might just become the new luxury. On one hand, AI might just kill the market for generic images. But on the other hand, it might just place a massive premium on the photographers who can actually prove that they were there to take the photo. And that brings me to my next point. I think AI is also going to play a major role in changing what we choose to shoot. See, we as photographers, we obsess over perfection. Getting the technical aspects right, sharpness, focus, the background blur, clean compositions, perfect golden hour light. If the goal remains perfection, AI will beat us any day. It doesn't miss focus, it doesn't get tired, it doesn't have to wait for 3 days for a tiger to show up. And I think that will simply force photographers to sort of reinvent what they shoot. See, if I'm someone who only shoots beautiful close up portraits, then probably yes, AI will do that job better than me. But if I look for unique compositions, if I document raw behavior, if I show the chaotic, imperfect aspects of the wild, then that work actually stands on something different and it is not so easily replaceable. So, in a nutshell, storytelling through images will become more important than ever. And that's why I believe this is not necessarily an end, it's sort of an evolution. Now, let's talk about ethics for a bit. And this is where I think the largest impact is going to be. Actually, not going to be, it's already happening. We see clips on Instagram, X, all the time showcasing animal behavior that simply isn't real. For example, there was a clip that recently went viral showing a tiger climbing on an elephant's back to escape a flood. It looked dramatic, it spread widely, and it was super fake. Videos of fake tiger attacks are quite common to find on the internet. In October 2025, a clip went insanely viral, claiming that a tiger had snatched away an elderly man in India. It caused panic, it created an outrage, people were scared. Later on, it was confirmed that it was a fake video. That's not harmless, that's misinformation. And as AI gets better, figuring out what's real versus what's fake on social media is going to get super tough. Photographers who stay honest will increasingly compete with people posting hyperdramatic fake content. And that challenge is frankly unavoidable. Now, I don't know for sure how it will pan out, but for an average viewer, it will become difficult to differentiate between real and AI generated content. Now, here's the core reason I don't think AI will kill wildlife photography ever. See, AI cannot replicate experience. See, wildlife photography, in my opinion, has always been about being in the field. The photo comes later. The best wildlife images are often documents of real moments that are unpredictable, rarely repeatable, and emotionally raw. That part is not going to change. Sure, AI will affect the market. It will affect aesthetics. It will challenge trust. But if you, as a photographer, derive joy from this craft, from being out there, that doesn't disappear. AI will push photographers to get better, to rethink their style, to move beyond perfection. But no, I don't think it's going to end. It's going to evolve. If you liked this video, consider subscribing to the channel and let me know what your take on this topic is. I would love to hear your thoughts. I'm Shantanu and I will see you in the next one.